Anthropic just leapfrogged OpenAI, a $900 billion valuation, the first time a challenger has worn the crown. Plus NVIDIA's record print and a $67 billion utility merger. Let's get into it. Anthropic is set to close a $30 billion round next week at a valuation north of $900 billion. Sequoia, Dragoneer, Green Oaks, and Altimeter are each writing $2 billion checks. That overtakes OpenAI's $852 billion mark from March and makes Anthropic the world's most valuable private AI company for the first time. The numbers behind it are why investors paid. ARR jumped from $9 billion at year-end to $30 billion by April. Q2 revenue is guided at $10.9 billion, up 130% quarter-over-quarter, with the first quarterly operating profit in the company's history. The bear case. This is a 2.4 times markup in 90 days on a private cap table that hasn't faced a single down round. If QQ prints anything less than the 10.9 guide, the entire late-stage AI book gets remarked overnight. The forward signal. OpenAI's S1 filed Friday. Whichever company prices first anchors public market valuation for the whole frontier model category. OpenAI confidentially filed its S1 with the SEC on Friday. Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley leading what would be the largest tech IPO in history. The target band, $852 billion to $1 trillion. Listing window, fourth quarter 2026. This is now a direct valuation duel with the Anthropic round we just covered. OpenAI's Q1 run rate is $25 billion annualized. 50 million consumer subscribers. 9 million business users. But the unit economics tell the other story. $1.22 of loss for every dollar of revenue. Gross margin around 33%. Cash flow break-even, not penciled, until 2029. The bear case is structural. OpenAI has to clear at a multiple that Anthropic just stamped while operating profitably. OpenAI is still losing money on every incremental dollar. The forward signal. Watch the S1 amendment. If gross margin trends below 33%, the trillion-dollar headline compresses fast. NVIDIA reported fiscal Q1 2027 revenue of $81.6 billion versus $78.9 consensus. EPS $1.76. Data center alone hit $75.2 billion, up 92% year-over-year. Current quarter guide came in at $91 billion, above the street. The board authorized an $80 billion buyback and a 25 times dividend hike. Jensen Huang said GPU demand has gone parabolic on agentic AI workloads. This print is the validation read for every story we just covered. Anthropic's $900 billion valuation, OpenAI's IPO band. The entire late-stage AI cap table is built on this chip cycle continuing. The bear case. The stock still dipped in extended trading. Translation. Already priced in. Positioning elevated. The bar is now $91 billion to next quarter, or the whole AI complex gets a haircut. The forward signal. Watch the data center segment guide. Below $90 billion on the next read, and the parabolic narrative cracks. SpaceX's own IPO prospectus disclosed that Anthropic is paying SpaceX $1.25 billion a month through May 2029, a $45 billion total compute commitment. The deal slots SpaceX into Anthropic's compute portfolio alongside NVIDIA, AWS Trainium, Google TPU, and Microsoft's Maya Silicon. This is the structural moat of Frontier Labs in 2026. Multi-vendor compute diversification at $50 billion scale. It also pre-books SpaceX a multi-year AI infrastructure revenue stream as it walks into its own listing. The bear case. These compute commitments are exactly the round-trip financing that makes Anthropic and OpenAI valuations look circular. Anthropic raises $30 billion, commits $45 billion to SpaceX. SpaceX banks the revenue into its own IPO. Real cash is flowing, but the same dollars surface in multiple cap tables. The forward signal? Watch the SpaceX S1 disclosure. If less than 30% of the $45 billion has been invoiced, the headline number is softer than the press release suggests. NextEra Energy agreed to combine with Dominion Energy in a $67 billion deal, the largest U.S. utility merger on record. The strategic thesis is explicit. AI data center load is projected to consume 15 to 25% of U.S. electricity by 2030. Scale, transmission rights, and nuclear plus renewable mix are now competitive weapons. This is the gating constraint on the entire NVIDIA story we just covered. Chips don't matter if you can't plug them in. Expect ripple effects across grid equipment names: Eaton, Quanta, Vertiv, and any AI infrastructure story whose throughput is gated by interconnect queues. The bear case: utility M&A is a regulatory minefield. State public utility commissions in Virginia and Florida need to approve, and the consumer rate impact from data center load is already a political flashpoint. Expect 18 months of rate case theater. The forward signal: FERC's interconnection queue ruling expected this summer. If queue reform passes, the combined transmission rights become a generational asset. The through line today: $900 billion for Anthropic, OpenAI's trillion on deck, $91 billion guided from NVIDIA, and the largest utility merger ever. All one thesis that AI capex compounds. The bull case is intact. The bar just got higher. Subscribe to the Daily Alpha. We'll be here when the next print lands.